Up until today, we knew that BYD were going to reveal an electric supercar. We knew what it looked like. We know the name, but we didn't know what the specs, the power were. Or the power was, I should say. The power is way more than I think anyone expected it to be. I believe this is the most powerful electric vehicle, aside from the rematched Navira. The rematched Navira, though, costs, $7 million US? This, on the other hand, will only cost a few $100,000. It's amazing. Personally, for me, though, it just has two things I think make it a bit polarizing. A bit of a, for me, it's just not my dream car. That said, it is pretty damn impressive. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm Sam Evans. You're watching the Electric Viking. Now, this is a BYD electric vehicle, but it will be branded as a Yang Wang. So, I mean, I don't know about you, but if you grew up in my era, maybe you heard Wang jokes. I mean, we used to use Wang jokes, but anyway, I don't know if people were aware of the kind of joking meaning of the word Wang in the West. Anyway, doesn't matter. This is called the Yang Wang U9, and it has 960 kilowatt, meaning it has 1,290 horsepower. That is ridiculous. And while it is a huge amount, this is actually the biggest supercar I know of. I mean, when you think of big supercars, the car that comes to my mind is the Lamborghini Aventador. The Aventador is a big car. Journalists often say that thing's a big car, it's hard to handle. But this is even bigger than the Lamborghini Aventador. I mean, it's quite a bit bigger. It's actually half a meter longer than a Lamborghini Huracan, just to give you some context. The Huracan isn't a massive car, but yeah, it just puts things in perspective. This thing is literally a similar size to a Tesla Model S. I mean, wow. Now that said, it can do 300 kilometers an hour. So yeah, 1,300 horsepower in a car that does 300 kilometers an hour, and it's a similar size to a Tesla Model S. Sounds like a hell of a lot of fun, or something very, very scary out of my nightmares. I'm not sure which one, to be honest. It could be both. Could be one or the other. I'm not sure. Anyway, this vehicle will be sold outside of China. BYD have 100% confirmed that. Will it be sold in your country? I've got no idea. It probably depends on how much money you've got. If you're willing to pay enough money, I'm sure you can get one. Anyway, how much does it actually cost? Well, in China, it's estimated to cost around $250,000 US, but we don't have any official pricing quite yet. And getting back to the size, the official size, it's just under 5 meters. It's 4,966 millimeters long, 2,029 millimeters wide, and 1,295 millimeters tall. So very, very not tall. Makes sense for an electric supercar. Wheelbase is 2.9 meters. So this is actually very similar in size to an Audi A6 or a BMW 5 Series. The wheelbase, it's long, as you can tell. So why is it so long? Well, it's got a big battery pack, and it's got 4 electric motors. So an electric motor for each wheel, which probably makes sense for a supercar, I think. It also has an optional fixed carbon rear spoiler, and comes with, of course, BYD's lithium iron phosphate blade battery. Now, I believe this, I've heard word that this may be a custom blade battery pack with a higher energy density. Could be wrong, but that's what I've heard. Now, based on the front and rear overhangs, apparently they're very, very low, people are saying. Journalists from Car News China say it'll be quite difficult to drive on public roads. I don't know if it'll have air suspension to try and help you. I mean, some supercars have air suspension, so you can, pop up the front of the car or the rear of the car to get over curbs and things like that. But anyway, who knows? Either way, the track is quite wide, 1,719 millimeters at the front. And surprisingly, the rear track is narrower at 1,676. That's quite unusual. Now, the wider front track adds grip and performance through wide radius bends, say BYD. Tires are 275 wide on 21-inch wheels, both front and rear. Now, the tire size on the rears, 21-inch wheels on the rear, the tire size is 325 millimeters. So absolutely massive, massive tires on the back. That's extremely wide, 325 millimeters. That costs a lot to replace, but obviously if you're going to spend this kind of money on an electric supercar, you're not going to care too much about the price of tires. How heavy is it? It's insanely heavy. Honestly, I'm really shocked by how heavy it is. It's not really that much different in weight to a Cybertruck. It weighs 2,475 kilograms. I mean, seriously, the Cybertruck is 600 kilograms more. That's a lot, but the Cybertruck is way bigger than this. 2,475 kilograms. I'm just shocked by this weight of this thing. Absolutely amazing. I mean, BYD make a small electric SUV. Just reviewed it. I just made a video about it today. It weighs 1,400 kilograms. So this is 1,000 kilograms heavier than the small SUV they make. And it's not that small either. Anyway, this means it's nearly twice the weight of the lightest weight Porsche 911. That said, it's got plenty of power to cope with that weight. Each individual motor has 240 kilowatt, providing it with a total power of 960 kilowatt or about 1,300 horsepower. How fast can it go? Well, BYD say it can do 0 to 62 miles an hour or 0 to 100 kilometers an hour in only 2 seconds, so 2 seconds flat, 2.0. Top speed is limited to 300 kilometers an hour. I personally wouldn't feel comfortable going 300 kilometers an hour in a vehicle weighing 2.5 tons, but anyway, what's the battery size? Now, this is probably where a lot of the weight's coming from. It's a 100 kilowatt hour LFP battery pack, so lithium iron phosphate blade battery. Big battery pack. That should give it plenty of range. Apparently it'll have 700 kilometers of CLTC range, which would mean around about 620 kilometers of WLTP range, or probably around 550 kilometers EPA range. So yeah, it's got a lot of range. But like I said, I'm still really surprised by the weight. Now, word is there'll be a cheaper version starting about $150,000 US. They may have less power or more power, or maybe they'll just start at $150,000. When initially the word was 250, it's now $150,000 US. If they price it at that level, that's amazing. I mean, this really would be an incredible car, but it will get criticized by motoring journalists for the weight because they're just not used to driving cars that heavy when it comes to supercars, which normally weigh somewhere between probably 1,400 kilos to maybe 2,000 kilos max. But at nearly 2,500, it's big, it's heavy, and not really what you would expect from a supercar. But it's also ridiculously powerful. What are your thoughts? Let me know in the comments. Thanks for watching.